part of their viciousness, a great annoyance to their loving and harmless neighbors, the law-abiding Romans. And so he's always got it in for the Romans, and I can share his contempt for Roman civilization. Personally, I feel that he's absolutely right. One of the first people that actually says it. I talked about the flowers on the coastline, and but one of the things you see that you feel, and that if you go to Italy, you'll still feel that. In parts of Mexico, you might feel it. What happened to a lot of these places? They were put upon desolation to the triumphant trump of the mosquito. What's the triumphant trump of the mosquito? Malaria took over all these places. It wasn't until malaria was cleaned out of the. I went one time to the seacoast near Florence. My wife and I, before we were married and so on, we were traveling around, you know, and we were staying in this little hotel or whatever it was, and near the sea. They don't have screens in Europe, you know. I mean, you just get bit. You just get bit to a. You just get bit. In like places like the Greek islands or places like that, they'll give you a little thing to burn, a little sort of thing that's supposed to burn and chase the things away. Yeah, well, you better burn and close all the windows, because if you open the windows and let them in, they're going to come in and kill you. And even a place like England, no screens. In Italy, there's not a screen in the whole country, I don't think. And there are mosquitoes in Italy. Let me tell you, go to Florence in the summertime, if you open the window of your hotel, you'll get it. You'll get it good and proper, man. Go to Scandinavia, go to Denmark, right? You'll get it. They have curtains, you know, that they sort of put around you a little bit. No screens. This is insane. That's all I can tell you. It's enough to keep you home. But anyway, the triumphant trump of the mosquito is malaria, and that's what, you know, ruined much of the life here. Okay, so he doesn't like Lattice Poli. Look at those poor rats at Lattice Poli had seen me and B go to the sea and sit on the sand for a half hour. Who are these poor rats? Italian officials, policemen and things. The kind of people you guys like too, that ruined, what were you talking about, the Signal Hill or someplace? The kind of people are always prowling around looking to give you a ticket. Anyway, he said, probably I should have spent the night in prison and bullied by half a dozen low bullies, he says, if I hadn't been carrying my passport. Why are officials always such fools, even when there's no war on? What could they imagine we're doing? Yeah, there it is. That's what I was talking about. Why are officials always such fools? He doesn't like modern fascist Rome in Italy and so on at the time that he's there, and he doesn't like. He speaks about the fascist regime. You see 29. The fascist regime, however, glorying in the Italian origins of Italy, has now struck out, and so on and so forth. So he doesn't like. Let's go. He talks about the Etruscans making small temples like little houses. We've heard all this before. Wooden temples, small, dainty, fragile, and evanescent as flowers. Again, the flower comparison. And here it is again. Gay, dancing creatures. Talking about the murals. Rows of ducks, round faces like the sun. There seems to have been in the Etruscan instinct a real desire to preserve the natural humor of life. And then he says here, why is mankind, womankind, such a craving to be imposed upon? Why do they like things to, you know, make them feel puny? Why this lust after imposing creeds, imposing deeds, imposing buildings, imposing language, imposing works of art? It's all an imposition. A weariness at last. Give us things that are alive and flexible, which won't last too long and become an obstruction and weariness. Even Michelangelo becomes at last a lump and a burden and a bore. It's hard to see past him. No one ever says things like that. Nobody criticizes Michelangelo. Maybe he shouldn't be criticized. But his criticism is not. It's bored, it's enough, it's overpowering. I can't, you know. There's an old saying that my father-in-law used to tell me when I was young and I visited his house. He loved this one thing. He would apparently, I guess it was Diogenes in ancient Greek civilization, always had a lantern who was with a light looking for an honest man. I think that's who it was. In any case, finally Alexander the Great rode by. He was sitting by the side of the road. Whether this is a real story or not, I don't know, because I never found this anywhere else except from his lips. And so Alexander the Great came on his way to his great conquests in the east, and he rode by Diogenes, and he stopped, and I guess he spoke to Diogenes, who was sitting by the side of the road, and asked him what he could do for him, because Alexander liked philosophers and was sensitive to philosophy, and he said to him, "Stand aside, man.